They must find something, anything, to hold on to, and then give their lives in service to it. The Empire depends on it.
They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison, first by carriage, and now by boat, to the east, to Morrowind. Fear not, for I am watchful. You have been chosen.
My gods are strong and true, but even the might of the blades cannot stand against the power that rises to destroy us. Take my amulet, give it to Joffrey, find the last of my blood, and close shut the marble jaws of oblivion. I have failed. We are divided. In the end, I could not unite us. Our ancient enemy has returned to reclaim the lands that we took from them thousands of years ago. And this time, the people will have to protect themselves. They must find something, anything, to hold on to, and then give their lives in service to it. The Empire depends on it.
Hello and welcome to Creation ModCon 2023. We thank you for joining us in our third annual event in what will be our biggest ModCon to date. We have more mod teams than ever joining us this year, and we even have more MCs added to our roster, including the two I'm about to introduce to you all. First of all, we have the awesome Antipodean Arbiter of Alliteration, Scott from Fudge Muppet.
Thanks, Captain Stu, for that warm...
Ruhiva Kronul Tsilnechma. Hey everyone, and welcome to the 2023 ModCon showcase for Beyond Skyrim Argonia. I'm Aaron Maloney.
Hello and welcome to Creation ModCon 2023. We thank you for joining us in our third annual event in what will be our biggest ModCon to date. We have more mod teams than ever joining us this year, and we even have more MCs added to our roster, including the two I'm about to introduce to you all. First of all, we have the awesome Antipodean Arbiter of Alliteration, Scott from Fudge Muppet.
Thanks, Captain Stu, for that warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be here for Creation ModCon 2023. I'm sure it will be an amazing assembly of accomplished artisans.
I'm sure it will be. Thanks, Scott. And our other super special MC is my favourite Irish Skyrim YouTuber with the last name D, the king of chaotic crack. It's Mickey D.
That's right, folks. It's me, Mickey D from the YouTube. Thanks for calling me Chaotic Crack. I like that name a lot. It's a right honour and a pleasure to be joining you all as an EMCEE for this year's ModCon.
Thanks, Mickey. Well, now that that's out the way with, why don't we have a look at what we've planned today? Scott?
Absolutely. So we begin Creation ModCon 2023 with a sojourn south of the continent to join the scale-skinned socialites of Beyond Skyrim Argonia.
And after our excursion into Blackmarsh, we joined the fellas at the Legacy of the Dragonborn to see what this Odyssey of the Dragonborn malarkey is all about.
Following that, if you go down to the woods today, you're probably in Valenwood, which conveniently is where the Beyond Skyrim team will take us promptly.
Then it's a bout of extra-dimensional spelunking through the plains of Oblivion with the Apotheosis team.
That leads us finally and felinely into Beyond Skyrim Elsweyr and all things punch cat related.
Then we are left handily heading west to the mysterious islands of Systres.
And then we pull up a pew in the seat of the Empire as we join Beyond Skyrim once more with their Cyrodiil project.
And then we end day 1 of Creation ModCon 2023 with a very exciting update from the Skywind team, followed by a day 1 Q&A session, so don't miss out on that. Oh, my Irish heart is really excited about this.
So with all that being said,
welcome to day 1 of Creation ModCon 2023. You got the Irish lad to say 3 and everything, cheers.
Ruhiva Cronul Tsilnech Ma. Hey everyone, and welcome to the 2023 ModCon showcase for Beyond Skyrim Argonia. I'm Aaron Maloney, the audio lead and one of the writing leads, also known as the True High King of Blackmarsh, and I'm going to be talking to you about the great progress Argonia has made recently. All departments have been hard at work creating the homeland of the Argonians, from building the ruins of the land's ancient peoples to giving life to its modern inhabitants. Today we're going to give you an insight into how all of that comes together, going into detail of each department's progress. A disclaimer, the music used in this showcase video is a representation of what the music of Argonia will sound like and is not the official version. We will be focusing on the Dorza Highlands, an area of northwestern Argonia, starting off with a glimpse into one of the region's Nedic ruins. Let's dive in. Like other remnants of ancient cultures scattered around Argonia, Nedic ruins like this one attract the attention of the Turnian Antiquarian Society. The members of this society are just a few of the more than 150 NPCs that our writing department has completed in the last year. These NPCs include citizens of the Turnian League, an alliance of former imperial colonies, as well as several traditional Argonian villages, all representing the majority of those needed for our current writing phase. Our focus has since turned to writing quests and world encounters. Dozens of quests have already been finished, and just ahead is one of our recently completed world encounters. For this demonstration, we are using a temporary computer-generated voice, which, before release, will be replaced with real voice acting.
Please, help! Don't leave me here. I was traveling the marshes, thought if I stayed on the roads nothing would happen to me, and now I can't carry on. I think it might be swamp rot. Please, can you help me? You would just give a potion away? I was starting to lose hope. Thank you, I feel much better now. Your appearance was a miracle. I could have died out here if it wasn't for you.
All of the clothes our NPCs wear, as well as armour, are concepted first by our 2D department before moving on to be 3D modelled. Some examples of these are the Turnian outfits, the Sarpa armour, the Chitin armour, the Rormasu armour, and much more. Our artists have also created designs for the architecture and weapons found in the region. You'll see the final versions of many of these designs throughout the video. For creatures, our artists have taken inspiration from many sources, including new creatures introduced to the lore of Argonia in Elder Scrolls Online. Concept artwork usually begins with multiple variations, and as a team, we vote on which design we like the best. Then, colour variations are decided upon. Once the team is happy with the piece, it is sent to the 3D team so they can model and texture it. Then, finally, it is sent to implementation so we can harass travelers like us. Argonia is populated by dozens of new creatures. Some, like this one, utilise existing animation sets available from Skyrim, but for additional variety, our animators and implementers have also added new animation sets to the game. While this has been most useful for expanding the diversity of creatures the player can encounter, it has also allowed us to add a greater spark of life to the daily routines of our NPCs, especially to those living in traditional village settings. The basic animations seen here have been made available to other Beyond Skyrim teams as well, so you may see them in other parts of Tamriel using tools local to their area.
Something.
As you've probably heard throughout the video, we've recently been working on sound effects that our creatures make. So far, multiple creatures such as the marsh harpy and the giant snail have been fully voiced, with more on the horizon. These sound effects have been produced to align perfectly to the various animations you see the creatures perform. Up ahead is one of our new histories. If you're familiar with the lore of Argonia, you'll know that the histories are central to Argonian culture and have considerable influence over their biology. These iconic trees are unique to the region, and they are one of the many ways we aim to make Argonia feel strikingly different from the Skyrim we're all familiar with. For our Barsabic Ayleid ruins, our 3D team has made a new tileset inspired by the Heartland Ayleid tileset used by the Cyrodiil team. This has allowed us to utilise a larger suite of exterior assets with new textures appropriate for the humid environment of Argonia. When it comes to 3D assets, Argonia makes use of as little assets from Skyrim as possible. Hardly any of the items found in the frigid tundra and mountains of northern Tamriel would be appropriate in these southern swamps and forests. Our 3D team has already created approximately 7,500 new 3D assets for the game, with many more still to be done. Among those assets are a variety of new weapons, such as the restored Cuthringi mace we've been using so far. We've also been experimenting with including new types of weaponry, notably spears, which have been popular with most cultures in Argonia, ancient and modern. For the spear animations, we've received permission to incorporate elements from the animated armory mod by Nick and Neck. Barsabic weapons aren't the only thing you'll be able to acquire from exploring their ruins. This is our Barsabic armor set. If you're interested in trying it out for yourself, you can find it as a standalone mod on the Nexus by Shinglescat, one of our 3D artists. Shinglescat has also been hard at work outside of our 3D department. She's been busy creating new custom weathers for Argonia, including the misty drizzle we've been walking through here in the Highlands. Development of our weathers has been greatly enhanced by the creation of a new weather tool, courtesy of our implementers, which allows weathers to be created in-game. The plants and creatures of Argonia provide a plethora of new ingredients. Our 3D artists have created numerous assets to ensure a diverse collection of alchemical components, from familiar items such as flowers and moth wings to more unusual items like tongues and oils. In Argonia, you'll be able to discover new alchemical effects not found in Skyrim, and some other effects may be harder to come by. Finding suitable ingredients to create a cure for a disease will likely require a trek to the opposite ends of Argonia,
or a confrontation with a dangerous predator. Of course, all these new plants and creatures require a proper place to call home. That's where our level designers come in. Approximately 2/3 of Argonia's biomes have already received an initial level design pass. Unfortunately, Argonia is not a place where one can simply enjoy a stroll through nature. Banditry is a constant threat in Western Argonia, where tribal authority is weakest and the reach of the Turnian League is limited. Travellers must be wary when approaching camps like the one ahead. While the bandits here are currently using the same generic lines from Skyrim, in time these will all be replaced by lines more appropriate for Argonia. For some NPCs, this will include full and partial lines of Gel, the native language of the Argonians. Although official Elder Scrolls sources provide very limited samples of this language, our writing team has used those as a basis to greatly expand the vocabulary and grammar, so our NPCs will be able to fluently speak their mother tongue. It seems these bandits have been up to some poaching and illegal animal trading. Let's head into the mine and see what else we might discover. We hope you've enjoyed getting a glimpse into some of the progress our team has made recently. If you have any interest in joining our team and helping us bring Argonia to life, we are accepting applications for all departments, but are in need of some areas more than others. We are always recruiting skilled writers, concept artists and animators. Our 3D team is also searching for more artists who can model clothes, creatures and architecture. For our audio department, we are looking for passionate composers and sound designers for creatures in atmospheric soundscapes. To apply to Argonia or any of the other Beyond Skyrim projects, please visit beyondskyrim.org. Thank you for watching our showcase. We hope you enjoy the rest of Creation ModCon 2023.
Thanks to the Beyond Skyrim Argonia team for helping us start Creation ModCon 2023 the right way. I'm Trendane, and I'm back for my third ModCon. Who would have thought it? I wish that I could put all of my wonderful memories of the last 3 years in a museum for my amusement.
Hi everyone, I'm Scott from Fudge Muppet, and this may only be my first ModCon as an MC, but I can appreciate what an odyssey the last 3 years have been for you, Trendane.
So how's it going? Mickey D here, and talking about Odysseys, let's catch up with the team from Legacy of the Dragonborn to see what curios they've been digging up.
One might think that with the destruction of Alduin that the world was saved. But it is the sole purpose of the World Eater, in fact, to save the world from itself. And since Alduin was denied the consumption of this Kalpa so that it can begin anew, this Kalpa continues, and the wheel continues to turn upon the last Dragonborn, as the prophecy foretold. From Ice Cream Assassin and the team that brought you the Legacy of the Dragonborn comes a new expansive adventure which takes you to the far reaches of Tamriel and beyond. Odyssey of the Dragonborn is an 8-part mod series which tells the story we had all hoped would be told after the defeat of Alduin. A story about the battle for the heart of Tamriel and the Mundus at large. The battle against the Thalmor. Centered initially in the Isles of Balfiria, where the Tower Adamantia stands tall, Odyssey will take the player to far-off provinces such as Blackmarsh, Elsweyr, Hammerfell, and others. Our design philosophy has been to focus on developing a rich story and environment within a smaller space. Instead of designing entire provinces and struggling to fill it with adequate content, each act we will develop an area roughly the size of a Skyrim hold or two worth of territory, and populate it thoroughly with rich characters and immersive environmental storytelling elements. The majority of our quests seek to provide not only a sense of illusion of choice by the player, but actual choice, with multiple paths and outcomes for many quests, and some quests which will ultimately affect the outcome of future events, and the state of the world at large, depending on how you undertake the quests. Being a DLC-size quest add-on following the story of Legacy of the Dragonborn, and even though it's primarily focused on story events, Odyssey will of course be no stranger to new items to discover and collect in an effort to continue filling your museum with the spoils of your adventure. New artifacts, weapons and armor sets, and archaeological discoveries abound in every act of Odyssey, and a new gallery, the Hall of Legends, will be their home at the museum. Our dear friend and curator of the museum in Solitude, Aryan, has a long and complicated history which unfolds throughout the acts of Odyssey, and he will serve as a fitting companion for the player through much of the series as you come to learn of his past, and maybe his secrets. The Intrepid Explorers Society is prepped and ready to embark with you on this grand adventure as they branch out into other places and recruit new members with their own stories, quirks, and abilities.
I may be allergic. Wait, Egelman? Egelman? Oh, don't scare me like that!
Beyond great environments, diverse and interesting characters, quests with real choices and consequences, and all the great new items and archaeology and exploration elements we are adding, Odyssey will also feature an optional add-on for jump-starting your adventure, a late-game character creator. This add-on for Alternate Start Live Another Life will allow players to create a level 50 character with all the perks, abilities, and accomplishments that come with it. From selecting completed quest arcs, equipment, spell selections, and pools of resources, your character will be set with all story prerequisites completed so you can embark on your Odyssey immediately. Choose your path and have all associated rewards and titles in place and on display at the museum, so that you can look forward to adventure right from the start. Our teams have worked tirelessly for years, through pandemics and real-life crises, work and family demands, and more to continue to drive this project forward. And it hasn't been easy at times, but with every small push and every bit of progress forward, we remain ever motivated to see this through to its eventual release.
Howdy everyone, UCM from Skywind here, and I'm back for another year of Creation ModCon goodness. Thanks to the Legacy of the Dragonborn team for that highly anticipated update. It looks amazing.
It most certainly does. Hi everyone, I'm Arcane Impact from Beyond Skyrim, and I'm so happy to be emceeing my first Creation ModCon. It's been pretty wild so far.
And the wildness continues with our next stop, courtesy of the Beyond Skyrim team, in the magical and ancient wilds of Valenwood.
We're currently working on. With regards to the foliage pipeline, we are currently... Welcome back to Valenwood as we return for our second ModCon. This year, we are proud to show that we started with high quality foliage production, and our concept art team has created detailed and inspirational image references for region specific foliage. In addition to this, our 3D foliage artist is currently establishing a pipeline for vegetation creation, featuring open source and free software such as Blender and Treat, as well as utilizing industry standard tools such as Substance Designer and SpeedTree. For texture creation, we pay close attention to real-life references. Together with the created concepts, we are aiming to achieve a high level of realism combined with fantasy elements the Elder Scrolls universe is known for. Now let's take a deep dive into what we are currently working on. With regards to the foliage pipeline, we are currently using Substance Designer, which enables us to create a wide range of leaves and plant textures, which gives us maximum control with how we generate them, as you can see. After setting up all parameters accordingly, the leaves can be modified in the procedural way, which allows us to create precisely what we are looking for. The software packages Treat, Blender, as well as SpeedTree are used to create the plant models. The process is tailored so someone with limited knowledge about Substance Designer is still capable of creating fully customizable textures without the use of other more expensive software. Here you can see a test plant which has been created to verify the foliage pipeline and to identify any blockers or errors we might encounter. Our goal, as mentioned, is pushing the quality bar of what is possible. These examples are only test models and mark just the beginning of what is going to be designed. This will eventually allow us to create all the amazing plants which have been conceptualized. and allows us to achieve our goal of creating dense and natural looking biomes and forests Valenwood is known for. Here is an example of the software Treeit, which is similar software to SpeedTree. With Treeit, we can render and visualize the trees that we create along with most other plants. As you can see demonstrated here, this is an example of a plant that we've been working on, which is a teak tree. The model created is highly detailed, and already you can see wind animations and can rotate light around it. This program works in a procedural way, so whenever you want to increase the dimensions of the trunk, the project adapts and adjusts. You can see how easily we can change the aesthetic of the tree, and from here we can make some adjustments by hand in Blender. From a single leaf to an entire branch cluster, or even taking them out completely and moving them around, bending them to our personal preference. This leaves us with the desired result, and once again a complete preview of what we can expect once transferred to the Creation Kit engine. With our next prepared example, we once again go to Blender and more vegetation that we can play around with. Here we have a humble banana plant that we are using as a test asset. We can use this to help develop our foliage pipeline and verify what adjustments are needed. Usually, we aim to create at least 3 different versions, such as large, medium, or small, and sometimes even more if needed. This helps our environment artists to find a home for these assets much more easily and create the desired biomes. This system is incredibly versatile and allows us to move plants around or create another one and move it here and there or slightly rotate it. Then we can use a small one, like so, and as you can see, we can already play around with it and create a clustering effect with these plants, and easily create entire biomes with them. This demonstrates the full control we have as we develop the verdant terrain of Valenwood right down to the smallest leaf, like this one. We can easily bend it around with what's known as soft selection, so that when we select certain areas of it, we can lower, raise, and bend it around with ease. Having this level of control is incredibly powerful. Next, we look at our texture atlas, and so far with our friend the banana plant, we are trying to put as much detail as possible, whilst creating as many different leaves as we can so the finished article looks as natural as possible. But this is only the start. In the end, we will probably have between 8 and 12 different leaves to work from, and this allows us to assemble a realistic model. And when we take a look at the references that have been collected by taking real-life photos in high quality, we can build our textures to be as realistic as possible. Another plant that we are currently working on, a palm tree, is a more complex creation which uses a partially different pipeline. Here you can see the plant and the spline and how it works within this app. Again, we can move it down, rotate it, once again demonstrating our full control over the asset. Then, in Substance Painter, we can bake our texture maps and add some edge highlights, such as some moss growing in the crevices. Using this method allows us to build realistic, high-fidelity assets. Despite this being a work in progress, you can clearly see the potential. The most important thing to us is that the plants look as organic as possible, and to achieve a natural look and feel of a plant that looks less like an artificial creation. It is of the utmost importance to understand how a plant grows and how the realistic mechanics of nature come to pass. Here you can see we've introduced some decaying leaves, but they are not just hanging straight down, they are folding around the branch in a natural way. In terms of the texture atlas that we've created, it also helps a lot to push realism when adding decay. You can see some leaves are cut off, some leaves are split with deep cuts, and even the greener leaves have slight colour differences to make it as natural looking as possible. We have built this natural world production pipeline to ease the work demands of creating a region of Tamriel that is like no other, but there is still much work to do to bring Valenwood's biomes to life. If you are a 3D artist, an implementer, or concept artist specializing in environmental art, we would love to hear from you as your skills will help bring our vision to fruition. But before we let you go, it would be remiss if we left you thinking that we had only been focusing on Valenwood's verdant surroundings. Though landscaping is of a high priority, we also have been busy doing other important tasks. Last year, we revealed part of our armor sets to much celebration and excitement to all of you in the Skyrim modding community. And in the last year, our 3D team has completed a number of weapon sets that we are excited to share with you now. First of all, we have the amazing and fearsome looking Triton sets, which truly captured Valenwood's natural and organic heritage in a fearsome and formidable fashion. Desirable in design and devastating in use, they are sure to create fear in any soul foolish to approach you with menace in mind. And alongside those are the otherworldly insect resin weapon sets, unlike anything else in Tamriel. These almost alien devices of pain will weaken the knees of any opponent who dares to take up arms against you in combat. Everyone here at the Valenwood team are very proud to bring you both these weapon sets, and we thank you for taking the time to watch this year's presentation. Enjoy the rest of Creation ModCon 2023.
The Mask of Sparrow Valley. Written by Kana. Read by Renara Hawk. It was a ball without equal. Coated in gold and moonstone, diamonds encrusting the edges of every glass and every platter. Lords and ladies gathered there in secret, hidden by the shroud of costumed extravagance, brought together under a singular goal: to learn as much about the other guests as possible. A deal of lies and buried truths, trading blows beneath upturned lips and flowery words. Such an event was made possible only by the whims of the mask. The Mask of Sparrow Valley proved an enigma. Some spoke of a battered, war-weary soldier in blue. Others met a snide, posturing butler in red. Different people, different places, but the same mask. Moulded from metal of an unknown source and carved with the face of a proper gentleman. Completed by a swirled mustache, turned down nose, and heavy-set eyes. Yet the most striking feature would have to be the horns. Unnatural, vile, and somehow fitting. The devil's in the details. The mask hosted at least 4 events over the course of a year. By winter's end, the invitations stopped. Caravans followed their normal routes through the valley, and whispers began to spread about the emptiness felt throughout the region. That an eerie quiet had fallen heavy over buildings that once teemed with life, now showing decay beyond repair. The world continued on as it once had, eventually losing all reason to care about the valley and its elaborate parties. But one question remains for those with the thought to ask. Where went the Mask of Sparrow Valley? Why, it went where all Daedric relics go. Home. A deal goes both ways. And so, the Mask of Sparrow Valley, once again, became the Mask of Clavicus Vile.
Hi folks, it's Kyrus, back again with the immutable Captain Stu, and Creation ModCon 2023 rambles on from the savage islands of Valenwood to the transmundane plains of Oblivion.
Eldritch horrors await those brave enough to step into the void, defying the odds to address the heart of the matter.
Join us across 17 dimensions of lunacy and torment, with the team behind Apotheosis.
Reawaken. Noble Izmir, Dragon of the North. Ride forth and reclaim the pieces of Lorcan's heart. Or is it thine fate to become a memory? Faded and scattered to the winds of time. O ye failed scarab, armored head to toe in gold. Such failure ye hast wrought. Ye who could only muster but a retelling once told. Who couldst not alloweth wend, for ye loved them too much. And thine love was thine undoing. Ride below over a shattered corpse. At the far end of time, her flesh torn asunder, a fragmented brute within the mind of God. O ye noble monarch, they will deceive thee. They will lead thee astray. They will hunt thee down. But thy will shall never falter. Arise, last of thine kind. By my breath, I shall guide thee.
Thanks to the Apotheosis team for a fantastic voyage into insanity. Mickey D back with Trendane and Scott once again. And our next port of call on our voyage lies west of the Opal Sea.
It is skooma galore for us all. As we embark into the fertile lands under the light of the mystic moons with my fellow Beyond Skyrim teammates.
Because this isn't anywhere, it's Beyond Skyrim's Elsweyr.
Tell this one, Verana, where do you come from? You do not strike Mazarko as someone who would willingly move into an Equina from Cyrodiil, especially an Imperial.
It's that obvious? I better not act then. Yes, I come from Valleyguard. I want to leave the Rim behind me.
Valleyguard, you say? Mazarko is aware of whom it belongs to. The Rim, the slavers, the cruel torturers of my kin. Kivalids.
You must think of me suspiciously, and that is your right, Khajiit. Yet, not all in the Rim stood idle, or cheered on the slaving bastards throwing poor folk into the mines, plantations, or noble households.
What do you mean, stood?
There were folk once who would help the slaves escape. But most of them are gone now. Killed, enslaved, or in hiding. Zenithar's Hammer, they were called. Not that it matters now.
This one has heard of them, Cyrod. Fine. But Mazarko wants to know, how is Valleyguard inside of its great walls?
I no longer consider myself Cyrod, Khajiit. As for your odd question, why would you care? We're far away from that damned fortress. No point in forcing my memories back there.
Mazarko served in the Nomadic League for a long time. He fought on the steppes near the town. This one simply wants to know what was behind these walls. Call it curiosity.
Well, it depends. The town itself is pretty vast. The Tagais,
Tagais?
The rulers of the town. In any case, they always wanted to urbanize it, thanks to the constant trade through the area from the southern holdings, the mine and the herders. The city deemed it important to invest into the town to help with the Tagai's goal. Not to mention it being the only suitable pass for a sizable force to march through.
Mazarko is surprised how much you know. You mentioned trade. Who would even run trade with the Riminese?
They have a small town further south. But the trade is run by Bandari. Sleazy merchants, always trying to weasel the best price out of you.
Bandari? Those folk are criminals. Mazarko is not surprised that the slavers work with fugitives. But where gold is being mined, there are usually ones who leech off it.
Gold mine? No, that one isn't in Valleyguard. What the slaves from it were carrying was nothing akin to it. Darker in color, not as yellow. Hard to spot most of the time, though, because the slaves are separated by a smaller wall from the rest of the town.
Ha! So they fear them so much that they have to wall the poor folk out. Call Mazarko amused.
I'm afraid it's not that simple. The slaves are not feared at all by the regulators who watch over them.
Oh, don't tell Mazarko about those regulators. He knows all too well what these Kivalids do.
Yes. Hence why I preferred the guards more.
Wait, Mazarko is confused. There are guards and regulators.
Yes, and even more. In the capital, there are mercenaries and the Dragon Guard as well, all of them controlled by Oriana Cathal.
Why are you referring to the Fang by her first name? You are not from Valleyguard, are you? No one in Anequina harbors any love for your kind, spy. May Elkosh guide Mazarko's claws.
Saint Senyena, protect me!
The Beyond Skyrim Elsweyr team is thrilled to see you all here at 2023 ModCon. So far, we have shown you shots of specific parts of the town. Now, we want to focus further on the differences between Valley Guard as it was, and how it now looks. We'll also showcase in more detail the area between Border Watch and Valley Guard, which is a town just on the border with Elsweyr and the Rim, a political entity in Elsweyr, with its capital being Rimmen. We've made significant progress in this area this year. Of course, the areas in this footage will undergo some changes as we finalize assets, and there will be adjustments to the level design before this area is finalized. You can see from the montage that the area has changed quite drastically since our last showcase. Level design consistency is important. The area near Border Watch and Cyrodiil has been extended, with the stream connecting seamlessly, continuing up the hill with the waterfalls coming out from the town above. Though we've stated that verticality is important for our team, because of our smaller land size to work with, in this specific case, this area has not been made to be as easily traversable because it is on the border with Cyrodiil, and the fact that Elsweyr finds itself on higher ground than Cyrodiil, especially around the Rim area. As you might have gathered from the in-character dialogue, the town's position is strategically important to the Rim. The layout of the town reflects that, with it being surrounded by massive walls, and it having 2 gates. One of them protects them from Cyrodiil, and the other from the Simasil Steppes, and further to Elsweyr. All of the assets made so far will be reusable in other places in the larger mod. The town itself deals with Rimini's culture and religion, as well as their economics and living on a fortified frontier. There will be nobles, soldiers, and regular folk to meet. Valley Guard has experienced progress in every department, with more to do to bring the location fully to life. This town is just another step towards our pre-release. We thank every fan who's been a part of this journey with us since the beginning. We hope to see you with more progress next year.
The Arcane University can give you the skills to contribute to exciting mod projects, with classes in game writing, level design, voice acting, 3D art, concept art, implementation, animation, and sound design. You can also take part in student projects like Hestra's Nest and the recently released Hearthstone Isles. Join us at discord.gg/Arcane University and learn the magic of modding. Arcane Impact back again with UCM, and it's great to see the progress Beyond Skyrim has made in Elsweyr over the last year. But where are we heading next?
Well, we follow a song on the wind to the westernmost regions of Tamriel, to the former home of the Druids of Galen and the infamous left-handed elves.
That's right, those magical isles hold many a mystery, so let's make sail and explore the magnificence of the Systres.
The 15th of mid-year, 4th era, year 201. Legate Leyland Citra, personal logs. The men mustn't know it, but the general has become all too desperate. Everyone knows the ships have become too few, and nobody can tell you why. General Salius suspects the mainland embargoes have made smuggling too difficult. I've consulted with the merchants, and there's little to be done from our end. Of course there wouldn't be. Hadrian thinks the Fisher Guard have begun to line their pockets too generously. But that's the talk of embittered nobles. Hadrian doesn't have his ear to the ground like I have. No, it's nothing so dramatic. But all the same, nothing for the commoner's ear, or their gossip. Salius has us leave in the dead of night. All the better, I say. Keeps the blessed sun off our backs. My men and I have been forced into near highway robbery, trying to haggle with the nomads and madmen out in the flats. Ha! Some great sacred high ground indeed. The reflected men have taken harshly to our presence here. I could have told Salius as much. I can feel their diseased little eyes watching us. Lots of eyes out here, not just them. Makes the men jumpy. Alder thinks each growth, each tube-worm is one of them. Some eye looking out from the salt, telling all it sees to this or that shadow. Times like this, I'm sure I'm surrounded by fools. Children and fools. They can all think what they like. All of them. These men are under my command. Not Elder, or Hadrian, or even Salius. Me. And I'll return them to Sandemorth Port with our mission completed. I may well burn this page once I'm there. The Empire is law. The law is sacred. In the names of Remen, of Arcane, of Illyrian, of Morahouse. Shield my path from open eyes. Ahoy, Captain Stu and Kairos have returned, still swooning over the majesty of Systres and all the incredible projects we've seen already today.
And we're only at the halfway point, as we rejoin the Beyond Skyrim team with arguably the team's flagship project.
Join us as we head to the seat of the Empire and home of emperors and heroes alike with Beyond Skyrim's Cyrodiil.
Hi, I'm Todd Howard of Bethesda Softworks, and welcome to our demo of The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. The key to each Elder Scrolls title is reinvention. We actually start over each time. So with Oblivion, we wanted to start fresh. We wanted to create for a whole new generation a game that captures those things that excite people about role-playing games in the first place.
Yeah, just hang on a second there, Todd. Could we rewind that? That is such a good idea for this showcase. Welcome back to Cyrodiil, everybody! Or should I say, welcome forward. It's been over 2 centuries since the Oblivion Crisis, after all. We all know how much can change in a year, but what about 200 years? Now, I know what you're thinking. But wait! Where are we going? Oh, oh, oh. Only to a place that Todd Howard would never think to find us. Hey everybody, this is Diegler, lead editor for Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil, and today we're going to be using the Elder Scrolls to go on a journey through time. Such a beautiful sight, isn't it? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't always. Whenever we design a larger location, like such, we always start with the concept art. Concept art takes an idea and it makes it real for the rest of the team. It really helps to get everyone on the same page and share the same vision. Then our 3D and landscaping teams start working on actually putting that art into the game. Tailored exteriors and 3D assets really help to bring out the character of a location. And of course, our writing team continues to work on the location's lore, characters, themes, and stories all throughout. So, what do we really know about Such? Well, for some real-world context, Such is a city that was cut from the development of Oblivion. It was meant to be in the game, but for some reason, most likely budget-related, the city was cut and turned into a ruin. There's no clear lore reason for this, so we're left to speculate on why it's full of bandits during the events of Oblivion. In our own lore, about 100 years after the Oblivion Crisis, some dude named Pavian Mead became emperor, and he was something of a military kind of a guy. He thought it would be a pretty cool idea to rebuild Fort Such, given that it's in a good spot to help spank naughty pirates and keep an eye on those sussy red guards over the border. I could probably talk about the real-world lore of Such and our project's workflow all day, but I think you get the idea. Instead, we're gonna be jumping straight into gameplay. That's right, we've got some juicy content coming your way. It's time for Such. We are going to have such a good time in this showcase. Oh yeah, you can definitely expect the Such puns to continue. It's not up to me, guys, okay? We have a quota, and we need to fill it. Anyway, I guess we could talk a little bit about some of the stuff you're seeing here. So, Such is really more of a fort than a city, but right now we're in more of the city part. If you live in this part of Such, you're either a high-ranking officer in the Legion, or you're related to someone who is. If you're not in the Legion, you'd probably have to pick up a hobby to help kill some time. Like drinking in the Mike Mended Tavern. Oh yeah, this is my kind of crowd.
For the love of Malakath, no dancing on the tables,
I just don't know what
please.
to do, Brazier. I know he knows it's insane, but he still insists on going through with it. And to think, if it weren't for my job, I would never have even known about this so-called initiation.
So I can't say I'm shocked to be hearing about this. The 19th Legion are just, well, their standards are extreme.
Extreme. They're going to kill my brother. That's not extreme, that's murder.
Oh, right. The 19th Legion is stationed here in such. The best of the best, so I'm told. Kind of a no-nonsense type of crowd. They probably wouldn't appreciate my puns very much.
Such is a fort first and a town second, so mind your behavior while you're around. Being an engineer for this fort isn't easy. There's enough work for twice as many of us. Oh, you overheard that? Cyrodiil. Yes, I believe he is. Look, I'm not supposed to know what goes on over at the 19th Legion camp, and I'm definitely not supposed to share that information. But right now, I don't really care. My brother recently enlisted with them, and they're just treating him terribly. This is supposed to be one of the finest legions in the Empire, not some group of boys pretending to be soldiers. It's an embarrassment to the Legion, and more importantly, it's going to get my brother killed. From what I heard, Pretyus is expected to go out at night, naked, and try to wrestle a pack of wolves. If that's true, it's pure insanity. Anyone who enlists and gets assigned to the 19th Legion has to go through initiation. For the most part, it's just a test of loyalty to the Empire, and sometimes it's a reason for the soldiers here to blow off steam by pulling pranks. But they've taken it too far. I've heard so many horrifying stories of their initiations. They need to be put to a stop. Can you help? Well, maybe. I've tried talking to Pretyus, my brother, but he won't listen to me. Maybe he'll listen to you. If you were able to talk some sense into him, I would absolutely be in your debt. Why you will. I didn't really think a stranger would. Scoff. Well, best of luck, I suppose. If you really can convince him otherwise, I'll be sure to make it worth your while.
Ah, well. Boys will be boys, won't they? Just a little bit of naked roughhousing in a wolf den. What's not to love? We could tell her to just mind her own business, but she's not being completely unreasonable. Alright, I guess we should head out to the camp and go talk to her brother. The camp is just outside the walls of Such, so while we go on a little stroll there, I'd like to take this time to thank our viewers for joining us today. Without you, life would have no meaning. Let's also take this moment to shine some warm light on the beautiful lands surrounding Such. The Gold Coast. Such a change from the cold and bleak lands of Skyrim, isn't it? Yes, this region of Cyrodiil truly lives up to its name. The change in weather and landscape from Skyrim to Cyrodiil actually informs a lot of our design of surrounding settlements and farms, and the culture of those who live there. And given its proximity to Cyrodiil's borders, Such isn't the only place in the Gold Coast where you'll find these kinds of Legion settlements.
Come on, look back. What's the point of giving you a hammer if you're too weak to lift it?
I've been swinging this thing around for an hour already, sir. I just need a short break.
A short break? Are the Night Elves going to give you a short break when the time comes?
Here, let me show you how it's done. You just step up behind them and... Oh, here.
That's what happens when you stand still too long. Look back. I expect you will have mastered that maneuver by down tomorrow. Keep swinging.
Done.
And this must be Thamus's brother. Let's see if we can't talk some sense into him. Seems like a stand-up fellow.
Are you supposed to be here? This camp is meant for the 19th Legion only. My initiation. Where did you? Oh, my sister sent you, didn't she? Look, I made the choice to enlist in the 19th Legion. It is my sworn duty to do whatever it takes to honor that commitment. So I shouldn't even be telling you this, but I imagine my sister already filled your head with something much worse. I have to survive a night outside of a wolf den. But if I can't survive a night near a few wolves, what kind of an elite soldier am I? What? And no, why in Oblivion would I go naked? If I die for the 19th, then that would be the most honorable death I could hope for. Nice try, but no. Seems like the wilds are getting more dangerous by the day. Stay safe out there.
I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed he doesn't have to be naked.
May your armor keep you standing, and may your weapons stand out. If you're hoping to enter Fort Such, you should come back another time. They've locked down the fort since the attempt on the vault. Have you now? Well, I'm not sure what you're implying, but I personally oversee the training of every soldier within the 19th Legion. If you have a problem with the way I handle the training of my soldiers, you can bring it up with General Detchen.
Talk to you later.
It's a really good thing that Legane isn't a legate. His nickname would be Leg, or Leggy Legate Legane. I feel like it's worth mentioning as a quick disclaimer that while such may seem complete in some regards, there is still much work to be done. Writing is still being reviewed by editing, implementation is still getting edited content in-game, and QA is still checking the work of everyone who comes before them. What you're seeing now is really just a taste of what we have planned for such. Be not deceived by her golden hues. We could just go straight back to Thamus, but Leg mentioned that we should take it up with the General if we don't like how the soldiers are being trained. Could be interesting to hear what she has to say about all this. Let's pay her a visit. This is the actual fort part of such. Seems pretty cool. Pretty high up, you know, good view. Our level designers really are some of the best in the business. They paid me to say that.
Hello.
Anyway, the General should be somewhere inside.
Can I help you?
Perhaps by your standards. The standards for the 19th Legion exist on a level beyond which most can attain, let alone understand. I trust that Legate Icaria is keeping everyone in line.
Until next time.
Alright, well, Legate Icaria is back at the camp where we just came from. It's probably best to just let it be before we get sucked into another game of upper management ping pong. Doesn't seem like anyone's really apprised of the situation anyway. We've run out of time in our showcase today, so we're not going to be able to see the consequences, good or bad, that result from the decisions we've made here. Todd said it best back in the Oblivion showcase of E3 2005. The key to each Elder Scrolls title is reinvention. And that's what we shoot for with projects like such. That's what we shoot for on the Beyond Skyrim project in general. If we're going to fully reimagine Cyrodiil in a completely different day and age, 200 years after the Oblivion Crisis, we're going to need all the help we can get. We need people who want to collaborate, who want to support, and who want to learn. Dip your feet into learning how to mod for Skyrim by joining the Arcane University Discord server, or apply directly to our project through our website at beyondskyrim.org/Cyrodiil. That's beyondskyrim.org/Cyrodiil. While we continue to flesh out a reimagined Cyrodiil filled with never-before-visited locations like such, we at Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil only have one question left for Todd. Who's laughing now?
Now, from the newly forged Heartlands to something close to my heart, UCM here, back with Arcane Impact, and after our look into the shiny new lands of Cyrodiil, wouldn't it be nice to go back to a time and place more familiar?
I think I know what you mean. Somewhere everybody knows your name, especially if your name is Enwa.
Oh, you know me so well. Anyway, let's take a look at what we have been up to in the last year with the Skywind team. Don't forget, if you have any questions about any of today's presentations, the Day 1 Q&A will follow immediately after this majestic look at Skywind.
Perfect.
Skywind should now be live.
Excellent.
Hello, everyone. Say howdy to the fine people.
Yeah, hey, howdy and hello to chat, and welcome to the ModCon 2023 Skywind panel. We're all really happy to have this opportunity to hang out with you and show some stuff that's been going on with the Skywind. This year, your host will be UCM, our beloved Master of Ceremonies and level designer.
Howdy.
And of course, we also have our famous Twitch star and builder of cities, Zix, our 3D and Navmesh lead.
Hello.
And last but certainly not least, we have our beloved concept art lead, Dal Sifadius.
Guten
And you know, I guess I should have not said last but not least, because now I'm last but not least. Hi, I'm Argyle. I'm a writer and voice actor on the Skywind team, and yeah, super pumped to be here with you all. So this year, we couldn't exactly decide on what to show you, so we thought, why not maximize it and just kind of give a big comprehensive view as to what we've been up to, both past and present. So we're letting fate take a spin. We are very proud to introduce to you all, drum roll please, the wheel!
The wheel.
The wheel.
The wheel.
Well, shall we spin it?
Absolutely. Waste no time
Let's
on
do it.
introductions. We have the wheel.
And first up, we'll be going
Oh.
to the Graysland.
All right.
Beautiful. I want everyone to understand the Gracelands are very work in progress. This is the first time we're showing them publicly. We can't show terribly much yet because we're still missing the one overworld tile set, which is the Dunmer Strongholds, and they are in the middle of the Graceland, as you might remember. But we still want to show you what our level designers have done in the past months, and I think it already looks absolutely gorgeous with the tower overlooking this beautiful waterfall over here.
I want to go kayaking here.
Yeah, I know, right?
We
Beautiful.
need a boat.
You're telling me you want to go over those rapids with a kayak?
I want to watch other people go kayaking here.
Oh, okay.
Also, you can see one of our new creatures here in quotations. I'm pretty sure we didn't show this off yet at any ModCon, so this is our Quama Forager.
And I'm a
Little
killer.
curious guy.
And if you're wondering what's going on with it, as we said, this region is like super in progress. I know that this part looks really awesome, but it is actively being developed, so there is no nav mesh right now. So the AI doesn't know what is traversable terrain or not, so little friends like the Quama Forager, they kind of do a little twitchy dance for you, but they do work. It's all going well. It's just part of progress.
I like that you call them little friends.
Well, aren't they? Not quite scribs, but they're pretty close.
The littlest scrib.
Close enough.
Yeah, so this is the world premiere of the Grayslands.
A very, very work in progress one, but I still hope you like what you see.
Oh, I
You know,
do.
it's nice to show that Morrowind isn't all ash and dust and misery. People definitely forget when talking about this game that there is this great lush region up to the, I believe it's northeast. Don't destroy me if I can't handle simple cardinal directions.
Yes, it is.
Good shiver, we have scripts. I'm pretty sure we have our scripts in game, right?
Not just yet.
What? What we have it in 3D? Okay, we have it in 3D. Also, yeah, we're live. Hello, chat. It's good to be back with you guys.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah. Shall we spin the wheel once more?
Spin the wheel.
It is
Spin
time
the wheel.
to spin.
Say it, chat. Spin the wheel.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Also, I hope you guys can see some very exciting items that are on the wheel that may or may not
come
get
up,
chosen.
We're showing off all the cool stuff right out of the gate.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice. We got a really
Yeah.
cool one. So the Imperial Forts are something that I've been working on for the past probably since April in 3D. I'm pretty happy to say that at this point, level designers and landscapers both have finally gotten their hands on the assets that I've been working on for so long, with completed textures, with completed collision, all that fun stuff. And this one is Fort Pelagiad. Here's one example where you can see already guards are hanging around. They're in their Imperial steel armor, which was faithfully recreated from Morrowind.
They're very actively on duty in their beautiful Skywind steel armor. Okay.
Can we get a close up on one of the guard armors? Like Zix was saying, he just finished implementing this armor, so we're really also excited to show that off. It's very classic Morrowind.
Yeah.
There also will be a skirted version. So they had these long. Some of them had long coats in Morrowind, which we will also have. They are just not implemented yet.
One thing that's also important to note real quick that I think the nav mesh here is a little touchy, so you might see some guards doing some weird stuff in this area. This fort,
like the one that was walking into the stables that I ducked out of, so that we wouldn't draw attention to
Nav mesh
it.
is always the perfect excuse, right?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Zix, just because this is the second time it's coming up, could you explain what nav mesh is in one sentence?
Yeah, so nav mesh is essentially, as the name implies, a navigational mesh that you slap down in the engine, and it's like a carpet that tells you where NPCs can walk and where they can't walk.
You guys ready to get dizzy?
Oh yeah,
Make me sick.
let's spin the stairs.
Okay.
Spin the stairs. The wheel is
I'm here
already
for it.
over. We're moved on to the stairs.
Oh no, I think I've gotten lost again.
It's such a cool win to finally have these forts in game. I mean, they're like a major part of the setting, and a lot of hard work went into making them a reality. And it's just one of those things where it's like you see it, and it just feels like such great progress. It's just a huge part of Morrowind restored for our project.
Also, I love that we kept it disorientating enough that you see
That I got lost.
Yeah.
I thought those stairs went up to the same level. I realized they didn't. Here we are in the Imperial Chapel.
Yeah, we have
Pelagian
custom
Chapel.
tapestries for every of the 9 gods, which are 9 of and not a single one less.
I don't want to hear.
In the
any
chat,
elf lovers.
Answered asked, "Will we see Vivek?" Only if fate allows it, and the
Yeah, if
wheel
fate allows
grants it
us,
so.
we will see
So-
either Vivek the city or both. Who knows?
Yeah, we have Vivek the city and Vivek the dude on the wheel, so pray to the wheel for mercy.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
For favor.
wheel,
Risky stuff on that.
Shall we head back
perhaps
to the
spin
wheel?
The wheel?
The wheel.
Yes.
The wheel.
The wheel.
And we
Spin
are
it.
we are removing choices once they've been selected, so there is a better chance that we will get to see Vivek the dude.
Oh boy, it's Bitter Coast. We're going to show off one of the towns in Bitter Coast. This is Narmak. The Bitter Coast is one of the first areas that kind of had, I want to say, like an asset complete list, I suppose. Like it's feature complete, so to speak. So this area looks really, really nice. It has nav mesh placed down. It has some schedules going on. I know that there's there's an NPC we want to talk to in here that has voice acting and schedules, and yeah, hopefully we find him.
No, he's right here.
Oh,
He's right
nice.
here. It's not a weekend, so you didn't go to Balmora.
Questions? Gajit is listening. There's a lot of money to be made looting the dwarven ruins. Against the law, yes. But where there is a profit to be made, folks turn a blind eye. One problem. The artifacts are often made of metal, and heavy as hell. Unless you are a big brute. It's tough to carry away all the loot. Me? I carry a Divine Intervention, or an Alm City Intervention scroll. Load up, read the scroll, and I'm back in town with a load of goods.
That is good voice acting.
Also, to
Very
everyone who
good.
says the wheel is rigged, it is not. It is
How
actually
rigged
fate.
dare
It is-
you
How dare you? No, this is actually.
besmirch the wheel?
Yeah. How dare you tempting fate? No, you never get Vivek to do it because you heathens talk slack on the wheel. I can't believe it.
You doubted.
Yeah. It is
Also,
worth noting.
Mhm.
Oh. I
Yeah,
was going to say it
please.
is worth noting. We did a quick little test run before, and we hadn't removed anything from the wheel. First thing that came up was the rarest one on there. So,
Vivek, the dude.
all up the chance.
I also
Also-
just want to say, look at the fog.
Yeah, look at the
That
fog.
so last year we intentionally set the weather to be just as nice as could be to show off everything. In came millions of comments asking why there isn't fog. I promise there's fog. See, look at it. It's beautiful. I can't see 20 feet. Okay, I can see more than
We
that.
do read
but
your comments. We do. We love Morrowind. We love fog. We just wanted to let you be able to see things.
Our mistake.
Our mistake. We're very sorry for allowing you to see things. That will not happen.
But
again.
hey, you know, growth mentality. The people have spoken, and here we are. We brought the fog.
And we brought the wheel. Shall we head back?
Speaking of, yeah, the wheel. Shall we spin it again, chat?
Spin the wheel.
Yes.
Oh,
Spin the
we.
wheel.
Hog
Spin
fog
the
says confused
Spin the
boy
wheel.
04.
Adrun.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
good one.
Okay, so this
Yes.
is another one that's actively in progress. This is a humble introduction. It looks pretty great in my opinion, but it is not finished yet. Most of the exterior architecture is pretty much completely done, so we've been able to do some layout stuff. There will be some clear stuff that is in progress, but ultimately, I mean, I think publicly we've shown off like Aldrune but foggy, or like at nighttime, but now we get a much more direct look at what the capital of House Redoran is looking like.
And again, want to stress this is an actively being worked on area. We just wanted to show off these great models more than anything.
The assets are just pure magic. I love the red tarp over the towers, looking up to Red Mountain and it looming over the city. It's even more cursed when there's an active ash storm. It's just beautiful. It just hits this iconic mark. But upscaling the models, giving it more detail, not upscaling, that sounds like we're using old models, recreating the style of Redoran, giving it new detail, but still catching this crabby look it used to have. I'm very satisfied with how the set came out.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Also, go ahead.
I was going to say, Argyle mentioned that this is a humble introduction, and I want to stress humble because if you look at Scar, the model is pretty much there. This is pretty much what Scar's going to look like. However, it's missing its textures at the moment. It's kind of just got some stone
just
on
a
it.
giant rock at the moment.
Yeah.
Not
Go
crab.
from rock to crab. Have faith. Have love. If you feel like volunteering, of course, yes, of course, but it's gonna happen.
Oh,
Oh,
could
I
you
love
go to
the
the
glass
Mage
there.
Guild?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Show off the Mages Guild.
Guild looks really nice.
You see, I'm constantly getting lost in our city.
I am. I don't know where I...
It's to your right. It's to your right. Yeah, right there. Past the walls. Oh no.
Down the stairs.
Go
The
ahead.
layout
There you go.
is mostly the same, but UCM used to be a filthy Telvanni player, so he doesn't know the glory of Aldrune well enough. I'm sorry
Used to be.
everyone.
Used to be.
Used to be. So yeah, here
Yeah.
with the Mage Guild, you can see we're trying to establish a certain consistency. For example, that the Mage Guild is associated with this very magical purple blue. The Balmora, maybe we get lucky and fate decides that we also go to Balmora later. The Balmora Guildhall of Mages also has like these very beautiful magical windows, and overall this is like something we try to establish, and we even have that with the very specific guild halls. Like if UCM turns around, we have the
Say,
Fighter Guild, which
Compared
is
to...
to compare to the Fighter Guild, which is way more humble and more to function than to form, I would say.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's a beautiful comparison.
So one
Oh,
thing
and
I
Is
would
it already
like
time
to
for the
add-
wheel?
Wait, let's use Six say one thing, and then
Yeah, let me
it's
add
the
one
other
thing.
way.
So if you guys follow our live streams, the Skywind live streams, the next thing that I'll be working on, if you guys watch, is probably the interiors for these things. I'll be modeling those So if you're interested in seeing live progress, we stream on Twitch. It's a good time.
It's a great
Twitch
time.
has been killing it with the streams recently. Lots of progress on those.
And
Yes.
if you're into metal music, that's also often featured on the stream, so you should definitely check in.
Sometimes.
This, I don't know, says this chat is being watched, I can tell. One of the projects. Yes, we are. Hi.
Hey, howdy and hello.
Hello, hello.
All right.
All
It's
right.
time to spin the wheel.
Back to the wheel.
Tilt Strider Pog.
Spin, spin,
agree.
spin.
Yeah, Fluffy Tower.
Fluffy Tower. Okay, if you watched our last big video, we already featured the Fluffy Tower there, but we still wanted to go over here, show you a few more details about it. Oh, you're already there. Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, our Fluffy Towers have their own tile set completely, their own narrow hallways, their own narrow staircases, and this one I think is a more hostile one. Yeah, get those weapons out. The Fluffy Tower generally have different functions. Some of them are just lived in, like in Gnises. There's a collector of Dremor artifacts who just lives there. You know, they want to kill them there technically. You can kill everyone, of course. But this place here, I'm not sure who lives here. Is it one of the famous runaway Telvanni? I'm not sure.
I think so.
That's
Yeah,
never a bad
so-
guess.
It's never a bad guess that the Fluffy Tower is ruled by a runaway Telvanni. That's true.
If I may for a second, I caught this in chat that someone was asking, aren't most Silt Strider dead at this point? Just for the sake of clarity, in case anyone's confused, we are Skywind. We are a reimagining of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. We are not Beyond Skyrim Morrowind. We are focusing on the game from, I believe, 2001, 2002, that old Elder Scrolls game. So just in case anyone isn't totally aware of who we are, what we're doing, that's kind of the quick and dirty.
Mm-hmm. Beyond Skyrim, Morrowind has a showcase tomorrow during the second day of ModCon, I believe.
Oh, UCM, also, once you're done opening the door, could you maybe show your loadout and zoom out on the character? That was a request in chat.
Sure. I'll do it right here in this ash pit.
I love that thing.
So this year, we decided, by the fashion designer Zix, who designed this character and her outfit. We've got, what is it, Drew pauldrons and gauntlets, and
Hey,
I don't know what the...
I'm thinking this outfit looks a little symmetrical. Could you maybe show off that we can change it around a little bit?
Could you take off a pauldron?
Let's see.
Looks
Yeah,
very
nothing
heavy
to-
for her shoulders.
Nothing to replace it with, but we'll take one off and add one of the gauntlets too. Left side goes empty.
How about that?
Much better for her back.
Yeah, super cool that we've been pretty accurately able to recreate Morrowind's armor system. We've restored pauldrons and gauntlets, all that good stuff, so you can have a lot more customization with how your armor is going to work together. We're really always proud to show that off when we get the chance.
Yeah.
And of course, the Colovian fur helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Also, UCM, last year you were a male character and you took off your pants. I think we should be equal. You should also take off the pants of the female character too, for equality's sake.
You're a monster, but okay. That
Perfect. I like
good.
her.
that Dal's
Equality.
weird.
What?
And anyway, we'll just unlock this, which
Unlock
also
the
check
door.
out the
unlock
custom
that.
animations.
Bam. Ooh.
Yeah, we got room for custom animations if any animators are out there. We
There's-
have big love for that.
Yeah, that's not a meme. Like, please, if you're an animator, it would be lovely if you could apply. We really need animators.
Well, other than the dagger, I feel like I was made a fool of. There's nothing behind that locked door except a cave-in. So in my embarrassment, I say we go elsewhere.
Yeah,
Wheel.
perfect.
The
Let's
wheel.
do it.
The wheel.
The wheel. The wheel.
wheel.
Slap, Fargo, slap,
boy, oh
Fargo.
boy, oh
Come on,
boy, oh
come on,
boy.
come on.
Ashlander
Ashlander
camps.
camps. Oh, that's
Nice.
nice.
Okay, so all 4 Ashlander camps are currently done, and we've worked really hard to give each of them their own feeling. The Arabaninsum are more warlike, the Zainab are more mercantile, and other cultural elements are something that we really wanted to reflect. because in Vanilla Morrowind, yeah, it was kind of there, but we felt like it could be a little bit more distinct. Please keep in mind that our Ashlander clothing has not been finished yet. We do have concepts for each cultural garb, but at this time, some of them will be wearing other clothing. But yeah, check it out. Hear the voice acting. Hear how they sound different from the usual Dunmer.
Also,
Well, if
again,
anyone here has voice acting, but the next one.
hashtag not a meme. If you're a 3D artist who enjoys making clothing, please apply. We have over 100 clothing pieces left to be done in 3D, so we need you, please.
Please,
Also-
clothing artists, if you're a tailor, come talk to me.
Also, I just want to say one thing I love is, because they live out here in these wastes where trees are, dead and brittle. Most of their construction relies on, bug parts from silt striders or other giant insects, such as, here you can see they use the shell of a silt strider for storage, for keeping it protected from the ash, or sort of fencing. I just think that's a great little storytelling detail.
You know, it'd be a really good contrast.
What?
Maybe we can get another Ashlander camp in here just to show how they're different from each other.
Okay. This is a great scene to end Erebinimsum on, this wonderful, what looks almost like a sacrificial altar.
Yeah, wonderful.
Beautiful.
Blood
go
everywhere,
Zainab,
skulls,
I think.
bones. Yeah, Zainab. Let's visit the Zainab to have a good contrast.
While we're teleporting to Zainab, it might be cool. It's not nighttime here, but back in the other camp, you could see the light coming through the tents. Actually, the tents have subsurface scattering on them, so you can see the little
awesome.
campfires inside.
Hey, UCM, could you make it night? With
Or
some
we could do that, huh?
magic. Why not? We can see the tents being beautiful. I think 10,000 is better. Nice. Look at the time pass by. Look at your bodies going frail. Stop. Perfect.
All right, now that we've
Stands. Yo, this looks great at night. I've never been here. Oh, and we
Oh,
have
we
a
got the
thunder-
lightning
Oh,
flash.
nice.
Oh, everyone be quiet. You can hear the Ashlanders talking. Oh, the subtitle's gone. But the Ashlanders do speak Dunmeris now. That's something I was just hoping that...
Are you lost, Outlander? Do you need a healer or a trader? He is the mightiest champion and greatest Ashkan of all the Ashlander tribes. A very great man. You should talk to him. He is a very curious man, always speaking with traders and travelers about the news of the world. Go ahead. Our great chief does not stand on ceremony. You may enter his yurt if you are clean and courteous.
But yeah, here you can see the contrast between the warlike Erebinimsum, I'm good at this, and the Zainab, which are way more open to Outlander also. They won't kill you on sight.
And also way more easy to speak the name of.
Yes, much more easy.
And spell for me.
Oh, true.
That's the wise one. Now that
Maybe
we've
we
seen
should.
2 of the 4 camps, shall we head back to the wheel?
Yeah, in interest of time, we need to spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
Give the
Do
people
it.
everything we can.
What do
Do it. Slap Farg off. Slap Farg
Slap
off.
Farg off.
So
Oh,
close.
Cedrith Mora.
Cedrith
So
Mora.
close to slapping Farg of Cedrith Mora, yeah. Okay, we did show our Tavani architecture beforehand, but since this is a mixed kind of convention, we thought, hey, we can show some of our most beautiful tile sets again. No one's hurt by that. And we are again going to use this for a bit of voice acting show off because we have absolutely lovely. Oh, and it's night. It's beautiful.
Okay, I'll keep it at night.
It looks very good with the thunderstorm, honestly.
Actually,
we're
how
going to
does
visit...
it look for the audience? Does it need to be lighter?
Audience, come on. Do you want day or do you want night? Give us your opinions.
We'll be on a delay. To be
I know
fair,
there's a delay.
so
That's true. But we
might
can
as well
change
move
it on the
forward.
fly. Yeah, move along. Yeah, we're going to visit 2 more voice
there we
actors. And again, we are moving through a city
Compromise.
now, and you will immediately see that the city has been meshed. So characters are actually moving around, there are interactions, they're talking with each other. There's a completely different ride from like an meshed place. And again,
And-
we're looking for clothing artists.
That's just what I was gonna say.
Okay, sorry.
I wonder why
What are you
Ophir
doing
never
here?
accepted a position on the
Would you let
council.
this one go free?
Want to go free?
No. There is no hope for us.
Don't ask.
Yeah, seriously. Slap him.
No.
Okay, it's fair.
Put a delayed recall
Yeah, so our
spell on
Telvanni
that
tech,
diamond.
or
In another
whoa,
hour, the
Telvanni
thief will
architecture
teleport
is a
themselves
pretty big
right
highlight.
into the holding cell.
I think whoever did it way back in the day did a really, really good job.
Can we
And the
pan up
level
and show
design
off some
shows.
mushrooms?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, then in the background, you can see it a tiny bit. There's Telnaga. Also a fan favorite with Master Neloth sitting in it.
Good old Neloth.
For anyone who might
Excuse
not be
me?
totally acquainted with Morrowind, this is the Telvanni territory full of wizard lords who grow their own towers and settlements with mushrooms.
I see from your outfit that you have wealth and taste. Can I help you? I tell you, this Peakstar, the temple says she's dead. So how could she be the Nera Varine if she's dead?
Don't know. And because I don't know, let's leave it up to chance. Back to
Away.
the wheel.
When in doubt, spin the wheel.
Spin the
How many
wheel.
more do we have left? 1, 2? What do
I'm
you
gonna say one more. Ooh, so close.
Oh,
So close to Vivek the Dude. I'm so sorry, Chad. Again, it's not rigged. It's pure chance.
We promise. We promise.
Alright, so we showed off Vivek City 2 years ago at ModCon and also a little bit last year.
I was gonna say it's probably our most common spot at this point.
Yeah, there's so much that we've shown it off, except for the sewers. I don't think we've ever shown off the sewers on video before.
We
This
have
is something
not.
That is kind of new-ish. But it's pretty stinky down here. It's pretty nice at the same time. I don't know.
I hope you can all appreciate the smell right now. Breathe in, Chad.
Oh god.
Yeah, this is one that's particularly faithful to the original layout of Morrowind, but also you can just, the feeling is so much better. You have the running water going on, you have that dark musty smell, the lantern lights, like it all comes together. And yes, I can smell it.
Which one is this, UCM?
This is the Halalu, the filthy Halalu sewers.
You didn't have to add that slate to it.
What are you talking about? I'm just being
Voice
descriptive.
actors, okay?
Very appropriate.
Just being descriptive. But okay, we'll show some nicer Halalu things, such as their filthy canal works.
Man.
And then we'll show the filthy wasteworks. And then the filthy plaza.
Dang. There's a Telvanni player coming out.
Yeah, you're lucky you're driving the game, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Next year, I swear I call dibs on commentary. Even though I just flubbed the word commentary.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
You're doing great. You're a great driver. Don't worry.
Man, fishing for compliments, success.
Nice.
So
Yes,
we
now
showed
we're-
off Wasteworks before.
Not, I think maybe some like still images, but not live. Yeah, not in video.
Beautiful little mosaics up on
I
the
don't
ceiling.
wanna talk to
I
you
always
either.
love those.
Yeah,
Also,
so just like
do it, Six.
okay, just like the exterior, the interiors of Vivek City are completely modular, and each one is going to look different. This one, for example, Lalu, they're doing Lalu things, I guess.
I'm
I don't
sure
know.
this is important, but I really must
the
go.
Wasteworks just shaped. They're shaped differently. Also, the ceiling is a specific color to House Lalu. That way, at a glance, you can kind of say, "Oh, I'm in the Lalu Canton," or "Oh, I'm in the Redoran Canton." Of course, the Redoran Canton is red, and so on and so forth.
Guys, if we hurry, we can do one more spin. Do we
All
really
right.
do that?
One more
Why not? Why not?
One more spin.
We gotta put all our money
One
down
more
on.
spin.
Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, oh dear.
It's not Vivek to do it, but it's still good. Trust me, guys.
Sorry. So, Caldera is one of our older settlements as well. However, along with the Imperial Fort tile set, we have a very special hero piece, which would be the Governor's Hall, which has been able to finally complete Caldera. So, looks really great. Zix, fantastic work, my friend.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, thank you for your great service.
We're coming close on time here, so it's a little.
Yeah, we're going
I
close
don't know
on
what
time.
to do.
Come on.
Quick, get your compliments in now. Good job, Zix. I love you,
Good
Zix.
job, Zix. You're the best.
Oh, stop. That's not what I meant.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone. We're getting close to time. Thank you everyone for watching. And no meme hashtag. We need clothing artists, we need animators, we need file cutters, and we need nav measures. So if any of those things are up to you, consider applying, please.
Yeah.
I'm begging
Stay
you.
tuned for the Q&A after. Is it after this? Right after this?
Yes,
Yeah,
right after this.
after this.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and
Thank you.
may the wheel be with you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, y'all.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's me, Kyrus, and man, what a day. We've seen a ton of awesome projects, and I'm sure you've all got lots of burning questions, so we're here to answer them. We've got a bunch of people representing all the different things we've seen today, so if everyone could just go through and say who you are and what project you're a part of, that'd be great, and then we can get straight into questions.
I'm Reed Still. I'm one of the writing leads for Argonia, and I'll be representing Argonia today.
All right, I can go next, I guess. I'm Dio. I'm the lead on Apotheosis. And yeah, whatever questions you guys have, we'll answer them.
Hey guys,
Cool.
I'm Ice Cream Assassin, and I'm the author of Legacy of the Dragonborn and the project lead for Odyssey.
I'm Mr. GGT, and I am one of the leads on Beyond Skyrim Valenwood.
I'm Will. Oh, sorry about that.
I think we were intending to go in order of what we saw today.
The wires are getting crossed over here.
Sorry about that.
Go on ahead.
Let's just go in order and like in the menu. Like Ice went and Chaos can go next, right?
Oh yeah, well, I'm the MC for today. Hi. I'm a voice
Hello.
actor on several of these projects.
All right, cool. What do we have left? Elsweyr?
Yes. So my name is Rob C.B. Wilson. I'm the lead for Elsweyr. I'm also co-lead on Valenwood.
All right, hell yeah. And
Hi, I'm Spam, also known as Luke. I'm a QA director for Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil and also implementer for several Beyond Skyrim projects. Glad to be here.
I'm Will, project lead for Nern Uncharted Systres and Pancor. Glad to be here as well.
Let's go.
And I'm back. I'm Zix from Skywind, 3D lead, Navmesh lead, etc., etc.
Sick.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Glad to have y'all. So we'll just get started off with questions for Argonia. So the first question we have up, I'm not sure we have a name for who asked this, but is Argonia a part of the Empire or Dominion?
So technically, the Argonia is independent of both at the moment, and is divided between several different political factions, including some Argonian tribes, the Enzalil, and the Turnian League. Those are the big ones.
Okay, very cool. Then we have how will non-Argonian NPCs and players survive in the inhospitable regions of Argonia?
So we get this question quite a bit. It's mainly, sorry, my dog has to chime in as soon as I start talking. Yeah. So Argonia has a lot of diseases, and that makes it difficult for non-Argonians to survive there long term. But there are still going to be some pockets, especially along the coast, where you can find non-Argonian NPCs, and regardless of what your race is as a player, you'll be able to explore Argonia. Just make sure you have plenty of cure disease potions on hand, because you'll be getting those quite a bit.
All right. Then we've got one from Nikola Perisic. How will the spears work? Are they just normal two-handed weapons, or will they have special behavior like longer reach? They said in the stream it looks like the distance isn't really any different than the normal one.
Final numbers on all of our weapons are still being decided. They are a two-handed weapon, but what the exact stats are is something we'll figure out a little later on.
Very cool. Okay, so moving on from Argonia, we're going to head over to Odyssey. So our first question is from the Death246. Will it be required in any way to complete the museum exhibition to do the main quest?
Hey, yeah, the museum itself is pretty open-ended. You will have to complete the Skyrim main quest, as well as the Legacy main quest and the Explorer Society quest lines. But like mentioned in the feature for Odyssey, we are going to be releasing a add-on for Live Another Life that allows you to basically custom build a character that'll be around level 50, so you can actually kind of jumpstart your adventure right from the start and won't have to play through the entirety of the vanilla game to get there.
Right, yeah. That's definitely a feature I might use. It seems like really cool. Okay, this one is from James Montgomery, and it's just ocean exploration in all caps.
Yeah, being on the Balfiera Archipelago in Act 1, there's a lot of water around, so there's going to be quite a few points of interest under the water lines around the coast and out in the middle of the ocean as well. There's not going to be a lot of custom mechanics for it per se, at least in this act, but come Act 3, we're going to be returning to Balfiera, as it's going to be kind of the central story hub for a lot of the campaign, and there'll be some excavations that the Explorer Society is going to undertake that'll involve a lot of underwater elements.
Very cool. All right, and then again from Nikola Perisic, will the Odyssey of the Dragonborn have parity with Beyond Skyrim?
It's something that gets asked a lot. We had a lot of discussions with a few of the leads on Beyond Skyrim early on in the development of this project about potentially kind of developing alongside and utilizing those world spaces. But we kind of determined that because of the kind of detached release schedules and having it be different teams, since our project was kind of a serial storyline that developed along, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for us to kind of work in that space. So they are going to be completely different, separate projects, and we've always advocated that people kind of set their load orders for a particular playthrough one way or the other.
All right. Very cool. So next, I believe we'll be moving on to Valenwood. Got a question from Betin. Will the Valenwood Chitin weapons be different from the Morrowind Chitin weapons?
Yeah, they'll be different. The Bosma and the Dunmer have different ways of kind of processing the chitin to make their various weapons and armors.
I just realized, is it chitin or chitin?
I never know. I've heard both. And
I feel like it might be chitin. I don't know.
I've heard chitin, I've heard chitin, and yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, the Bosma, obviously, due to their very religious views on tree usage, and generally doing destruction to nature, living plant nature anyway, they have a lot of rules and have had to develop ways of kind of making things without using wood or disturbing the ground in places and stuff like that. So they can't get coal and things to heat up stuff. So they've had to develop alchemical means to make use of what they have to create things in different ways that other cultures don't.
Sense. Are there uses for this 3D pipeline that you guys showed outside of trees and greenery?
Currently, no. It's very much geared towards, the large number of trees and shrubs and plants that we're going to need in Valenwood. We're happy to, talk to other people and if they want to use it themselves to do stuff for their projects. But it's very much geared towards kind of the trees and greenery, in part due to the software that's used.
Gotcha. And then, do you plan to implement more animations for trees?
We plan on having some vegetation that's not friendly to the player, so they'll probably have their own animations to, kind of keep you on your toes as you try traipse through the jungle kind of thing.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So moving on to Apotheosis. We got a question from Leotric. Has Apotheosis been inspired by any of the FromSoft games?
Well, yeah, obviously. Look, I mean, that gets asked a lot, and it's one of the inspirations. But Morrowind's lore of Morrowind, lore of Elder Scrolls in general, it's I think there's a lot of aspects of that aren't really explored in the main games. It's probably because it's too niche and it's too hard to do it in a mainstream way. But I wanted to do that, and I love Daedric Princes. I love the whole the whole otherworldly the deities and all that stuff. So it's kind of there. I'm also heavily inspired visually by Angel's Egg, this kind of old obscure Mamoroshi film. Recommend you guys check it out. Berserk. There's a lot of influences, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, Souls is the preeminent dark fantasy thing out there. So obviously, whenever you see that kind of mood and style, you're gonna say Dark Souls. So yeah, I mean, I guess sure. I mean, we have dodging in the trailer, Dark Souls, bro.
Yeah. All right. Another question from Simon Hopper. Are the combat mods used in this oh, sorry. Hang on, reading the question wrong. Are there combat mods used in this trailer, or are there similar ones recommended for this mod?
So I love Skyrim and I love the combat systems when they came out in 2011, but there's so many new advances that came out. MCO is something you shouldn't really ignore, in my opinion, if you want to play this game. That said, we designed the bosses around the idea of like having a more modern combat system with like a dodge ability of some sort, and like having these mods in your load order will give you a way better experience. That said, you won't need them at all. They won't be required, because I know there's a lot of people who still prefer to play in first person. I'm one of them. Like when I play Skyrim, I play either in first person and I do like the whole rogue assassin, like OP archer from from halfway across the world kind of thing. And I love doing that. I love immersive sims. Like I love System Shock and like all the games. But like I think it really fits here, and we're gonna optionally support it. Like we're gonna basically do like a DAR like compatibility patch, and you can download it if you want to, if your loader already has it. If you don't, it's fine. It's gonna be less than the experience that we intended, but it's not a deal breaker. You know what I mean? So that
Alright.
so in the trailer, MCO is used because I have it installed, and it's basically just the stock MCO. And for the bosses, you saw Molag Bal had custom animations, which are from a modder resource. And basically, yeah, we're just gonna use DAR to implement those animations to like give the bosses a bit of a different flair and a feel. You know what I mean?
Okay, we have a question from Nutbrain. Is Mehrunes Dagon's design based on any lore, or is it original?
I mean, it's kind of original, and it's kind of based on lore, and it's kind of based on like Oblivion. Like, I wanted him to be menacing. Obviously, he's got the forearms because he's got the whatever. But he's the Lord of Destruction, and destruction is blind. And like that's kind of why I wanted to go with this style. Like so yeah, I guess it's a mix of both. I really love his design in Oblivion, and we tried to go with that design, and then we iterated like on it like 3-4 times, and this is the 4th iteration. So I think we finally have it nailed down, and I think
Very
I'm
nice.
pretty satisfied with it. There were some other questions, I think. Will this require combat mods? No, you covered that.
Yeah, I
Will
believe
you
that there was-
involve Money Marco?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not on the list I have.
Oh.
Are we looking at different ones?
No, I'm just looking in the chat.
Oh, in the chat. Yeah, I think what we might.
Will you be
I
required
think-
to slay Daedric princes to complete the quest? So I understand that killing a princess massively affects the game. What sort of impact are we talking about? This is from Microwave. Okay. No, you won't be required to slay any Daedric princes. Like the whole idea is basically to give you as much choice as we can, so you can ally with any of the 17 Daedric princes, and that influences the way the quests progress and the state of the world later on, and what kinds of endings you have access to. That said, if you want to go the hard way and you want to do it that way, you can attack every single one of them if you want to. But that itself has a lot of consequences. And we also, the world is a bit fractured, and like there's different princes aligned together in different factions. And so like going on the attack against certain princes will anger others who are with them. So you really got to balance it out and think through like what kind of decisions your character would do, what kind of like Daedric princes would they align with. Do they align with your character's like good or evil not natures. So it really depends on the player, but I want to stress here that we really want to emphasize like role playing, reactivity, and player choice. That's like the most important pillar of the mod.
Gotcha.
So basically,
All right.
and that also applies to like why we're not forcing people to use DMCO and all these mods. It's part of it.
Okay. Cool. So now we're going to move on to Elsweyr. First question is from Demon Microwave. When designing environments and landscapes, I know verticality has been mentioned before. Have you all taken the recently dropped climbing mods into consideration?
We haven't, no, for the simple reason that we try and keep things as vanilla as possible. So adding additional mods as a requirement would be against our core principle as a project. So
Cool. Okay. Planet Perfume asks, will the Rimmen people be a separate race, or will they be the basic Imperials? And
sorry.
Oh no, my bad. I misread the question. That is the full question.
Oh, that is the full question. I know that there was a sub question, which I can answer at the same time.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah,
Yes.
separate race model as well.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's fine. So yes, there will be a separate race for the Rimmenese people. No, there won't be a separate model. And yes, it will be based on the Imperials. We were actually very close to being in a position to show something for ModCon, but it was one of the things that is still too work in progress to share.
Gotcha. All right, and from Scarlet Willow, are you using any ESO as inspiration for the architecture?
In a word, no. So the architecture, I assume they're talking about Valley Guard / Rimmen. The architecture for the Rimmen region was started way before ESO even started. In fact, most of what you saw today was concepted many years ago, way before ESO, and we didn't want to change it because it's has a continuity of design that if we added in additional elements, we'd have to redo the whole set. So no, we won't be taking ESO inspiration. And also we feel, particularly for Elsweyr, that the architecture showcased in ESO Elsweyr was quite weak, so we wouldn't take any inspiration from it. No.
Gotcha. All right. Well, moving on to Systres. Is the project still in its concept phase? Is our first question.
Well, in a word, yes. We've gotten a lot of work done outside of concept art. We have a world space. We have limited 3D assets. We have actually we have some writing right now. But yeah, for the most part, we are focusing very much on concept art for the time being. It's still a relatively young project. It's been a great time for concept art for us, but if right now we're looking mostly for 3D artists and writers. I might be forgetting someone else, some other department.
What relation does this region have to Thras?
That's an interesting question. Our project predates the ESO version from some time, so no Druids of Galen or anything like that. But in the time before ESO Systres was announced, there was a lot of speculation on where Thras was, and the Systres were the only islands on the Redguard map, at least, that were visible in the Sea of Pearls. And so we sort of wanted to work from there and kind of, treat it as sort of like a half-made Thras. It was a place the Slow tried to settle, but eventually, for natural reasons or unnatural ones, as you'll find out, they weren't really able to get a foothold there, or however much of a foothold the Slow can get in anything. But you still see their influence all over the place. That's where the coral forests come from. That's where a lot of the creatures come from. And there's you're going to see certain things, creatures associated with decay and rot and stuff that followed the Slow there.
All right. And then, in a similar vein, what relation does the region have to Yakuta?
It's also an interesting question. The Systres they're an island chain with a contentious history, and they've had a lot of residents over that history. So at the height of the Yakutan Empire, it probably would have been, under the purview of Yakuta, wherever their capital was. And there are Yakutan, Ragata, Redguard, indistinct cultural group. There are, Redguards there, and Yakutans maybe, who have live there basically for time immemorial. They were there before the Sload, and they sort of weathered that storm and continue to be there now.
All right, awesome. Cool.
It's a yeah. Oh, so
yeah. We're sorry. Were you still talking? My bad.
Yeah. All right. There we go then.
Cool. All right, moving on to Cyrodiil. From Kazmakazi, we have, are the Oblivion Gate ruins going to get a model update? Will the rubble of the Great Gate of Bruma be added in the final release?
Okay, that's me. Yeah, actually, we've already internally updated our Oblivion Gate model, and it's starting to be placed around our world. The specific case that this viewer mentioned with the one by Bruma, the Great Gate outside of Bruma, it has been raised by the populace of Bruma and will not be in the final release either. So that's off the table. But the Oblivion Gates will get an updated model to final release.
Gotcha. Max RI might have missed it, but is this still technically under the jurisdiction of the county of Anvil, or is it its own entity?
Yeah, so such is a bit of like a special case because it's geographically within County Anvil, but it's governed by the general, and the general answers not to Anvil or the seat in Anvil. They actually answer to her. The general answers to her superiors in the IC. So that's the imperial city. So she. Basically, Anvil has no real power over them, but geographically it's in the same county. So, it's a bit of a special relationship, but yeah.
Sure. All right, and then a question from Great Runas. How will you all handle such being cut from Oblivion, but mentioned in every single other bit of lore, even mentioned in Redguard? Will it be an old landmark still on old maps?
So obviously you've seen the showcase now. Hopefully, otherwise go watch the VOD. But it's being shown on stream now as well. It's a full-on fort town at this state. In the fourth era, it's got like both soldiers and people living off the industry that these 19th Legion, that station there, creates. So both civilians and legionnaires live there. It was the way we handled it lore-wise is that it was abandoned in the third era due to lack of use. It had no real use case, so it was abandoned and ruined. And you could also see from our concept art as well that a lot of our early concept art had the old fort of Such being placed next to the town of Such. So this is sort of a new creation, something that has cropped up during the rule of Pavian Mead, and he created it in the build-up to the Great War, and that's why it's there today and not in Oblivion. So it's a bit of a in-between way to kind of handle all the headcanon, So
right. Well, cool. All right, and last but not least, we have Skywind. So, first question comes from Boom MC. Will that mud crab be rich again?
Oh man, I assume you're talking about the mud crab merchant. Yeah, for sure. We haven't gone too far into balancing the game yet, of course, because we don't have everything set in stone. Say placement of items in the world, etc., etc. But the mud crab merchant was, classically, he's the rich dude. You sell your stuff to him. We want to try to recapture that, be faithful to Morrowind. So, short answer, yes.
Cool. And then No Name Account asks, how did the original concept artist for Morrowind come up with all this? Like, how crazy has it been trying to nail the intended vibe of Morrowind with Skyrim tech? This is crazy.
And that one's tough because the first part of that question, I guess, really isn't directed at us.
Yeah.
The OG guys, I'm really not sure. I guess Bethesda was extremely creative. I don't know if everybody has seen. I there's like an art book for Morrowind, and it has a lot of Kirkbride art. It has a lot of if other people had art, there's a lot of art in there, and it has concepts for places like Nisus. It has concepts for the Telvanni lords, where they're sort of like in these dead bug carapaces that they levitate around in, and the ideas were crazy. There was even like a slowed merchant ship that we were supposed to get in the game. Yeah, the original artists were insane. They drew a lot of inspiration from like real world cultures. Just to name a few, I have someone helping me in the background here. A lot of Sumerian culture, Akkadian culture, Roman culture for the Imperials, of course, sort of like medieval-ish also for the Imperials. Vivek City is actually based off of a real city, I think, in current-day Mexico. Yeah, Tenochtitlan, something like that. You guys can look it up. It's literally Morrowind in the real world. It's Vivek City in the real world. It's crazy. But yeah, using those original, I guess to get into the second part of the question, using those original art styles and sort of interpreting it in Skywind is a bit difficult. Just because, we have our own creative minds on the team. And especially with Morrowind, there were a lot of things that were somewhat lacking. That we want to make improvements upon, but we also, because we're essentially a remake project, right? We want to capture that original feeling. We want to be faithful to that original feeling. So we have to go back and forth with the original concepts and sort of new ideas that new concept guys throw out there. And then, of course, in 3D, we try to put all that together and make it actually function in the engine, which is another difficult thing to do. But yeah, it's a challenge to say the least.
Cool. All right, and then last question from Demon Microwave. Will I be able to jump across the entire map in a single bound?
That's something that is true in Skywind, as far as I know. I haven't tried it myself yet. I don't know if anybody's tried it yet, because Skyrim can be a little finicky with how it loads stuff, but we have a couple people actively working on like spells, I guess, currently, and we've had spell work done before. Jump is a spell that's coming back. Acrobatics is a skill that's coming back, so you'll be able to jump farther depending on your attributes and stuff like that. The scrolls of Icarian Flight that you get dropped from Tarheel falling out of the sky, right? He's in the game. You can use those scrolls. So ideally, the intention is that you should be able to do everything that you could in Morrowind, hopping across the world included in that, if you so choose.
Very cool. Well, all right. Thank you so much, everyone. That's all of the questions that we have for today. If you did not see your question answered, we will be releasing some official answers to the unanswered questions in a document after the stream. So that will be up at some point in the future. And also go ahead and ask your questions in our community servers. We have, individual ones for each of these amazing projects, and please make sure to support all of them. Thank you so much for being here, everyone, and thank you to all of our project leads here for answering all these questions from the community. It's been a great day. Good job, everyone, and thank you very much.
The Arcane University can give you the skills to contribute to exciting mod projects, with classes in game writing, level design, voice acting, 3D art, concept art, implementation, animation, and sound design. You can also take part in student projects like Hestra's Nest and the recently released Hearthstone Isles. Join us at discord.gg/Arcane University and learn the magic of modding.